So we're told that Donald Trump is the most racist man of all time. And oddly, it seems like Hispanic voters, Latino voters, were able to look past his racism and have one of the highest percentages for a Republican presidential candidate in quite a while. Is that true? Did that actually happen? Did it materialize?
Yes, Donald Trump, according to the exit polls from most of the news agencies that have released them at least, obtained at least 35% of the Hispanic vote nationwide. That is at least, it's very different from state. In Florida, he tied with Joe Biden for the Hispanic vote. In Texas, he won over 40%. But this was not just a phenomenon, which is what the left is trying to explain now, of Cubans or Venezuelans, Venezuelans like myself, but he improved over the Hispanic vote everywhere, in Ohio, in Georgia, in South Texas, in the border with Mexico. This is Hispanics from all walks of life.
So why did that happen? I mean, because there is a logical thing that the left and the media has been saying for a long time, which is, look, Donald Trump is tough on the border. Everyone calls him, racist and hateful all the time. Why would Hispanic voters vote for Donald Trump?
There are three main reasons, I think. And those are, one, that he made a conscious and coordinated effort to win the Hispanic vote. He has an amazing campaign team that targeted Hispanic voters, not based on the issue of immigration alone, which is actually not the top priority for Hispanics, but on taxes, on regulations, on jobs, on absolutely everything, and bilingual ads, by the way. They put great music. You saw the latest ad that they showed in Miami that was a huge success, and now everybody's singing the song. Very different from Joe Biden, that comes to a campaign event and he just starts playing Despacito from his phone, thinking that that's what's going to get him to win the Hispanic vote. So he did a conscious effort. He also applied policies. He pushed for policies during his administration that appealed to the Hispanic vote, understanding that the Hispanic vote is not a monolith, but it's actually different communities from different countries, right? So with Venezuelans, he stood up to the Venezuelan socialist dictatorship. Same with the Cubans with Cuba, with Nicaragua. With Mexico, he had good relations with the president of Mexico. And then he pursued a trade deal with the USMCA that was very popular. So that kind of policies that were targeted to different groups was the thing that got him the vote. And the third factor was that the Democrats' only argument against Trump was that he's a racist and an anti-immigration or anti-Latinos, the same argument they had from 2016, but this time their argument ran out of fuel, because this time Trump has been president for 4 years and none of their ridiculous claims materialized.
Yeah, and that's a big thing. I mean, you make these big scare tactics in the first campaign, he wins, they don't happen, then what is kind of the issue. I'm really glad you brought up to go back to touch on immigration one more time. There's this thing that liberal elites in, New York do, which is like, well, what do Hispanics think? The one time I think about them is when they're immigrating. And so therefore, immigration is what they care about. That's not, they're actually people. And I've always found that to be very insulting. These are people who have all sorts of varying interests and care about many of the same things that everybody else does.
Yeah, Hispanics are one of the most entrepreneurial groups of the population. So taxes and regulation actually matter a lot for us. And so I think that was a big factor for Trump. Now, immigration, it's true that it's not the most important factor for when it comes to voting, but it is an important factor when it comes to your family, right? So Sure. Many Latinos have dreamers as family members. And other types of legal immigrants in this case, not just illegals who brought in as children. So immigration is important, and I think that the showing of the Hispanic vote for Trump this election, and not just the Hispanic, any kind of minority, Asians too, which many of them are immigrants, shows that the GOP need not be concerned about an increase in immigrants in the population as voters, that they can actually win their votes and beat the Democrats in their game.
Yeah, and that's a great point. I mean, and I don't know when Republicans ever just kind of gave up. They're like, oh, well, this group doesn't like us, so we're never going to talk about them again. And this group doesn't like us, so we're never going to think about that. Like, the whole point is these ideas are supposed to be persuasive. And I'm glad that the Republicans, and Donald Trump, for some flaws that he does have, he at least outwardly came out and tried to do that. I think another big part of this, too, is voters, in my mind, a lot of times have this one big line. Like, I can vote for that person, but if he's against abortion, I can't do it. Socialism, it has to be a bright line for many groups, Cuba and Venezuelans in particular. But I mean, there's all sorts of socialism in Central America that has to affect voters who have come here and people who have immigrated here and have said, look, I want to get away from that. I don't want this. We have about 30 seconds. Is that a determining factor, you think?
It is a determining factor, and it's not just for Cubans and Venezuelans. It is also for Nicaraguans. It is also for Colombians. In fact, the Trump campaign did a really good job showing that the socialists in Colombia, who are allied with the Hugo Chavez and Maduro regime in Venezuela, were actually endorsing Joe Biden for president. Colombians in the United States don't want that. They don't want the United States to become a socialist country. And they understand Joe Biden is not a socialist, but they also understand that Joe Biden is going to name socialist in his administration. And we don't want any of that. So that's why they voted for Donald Trump.
Hi, Stu Bergier of Stu Does America here. Thanks so much for watching our video. Did you know you can watch our entire catalog for free right here on our channel? Subscribe now and be sure to hit the thumbs up button on all the episodes you watch, because that's how they know you like this stupid show. And that little bell in the corner as well. Make sure you click that. You'll get notifications every time we post new content. Stu Does America every weekday at 8 p.m. Eastern right here.